fans, welcome to another edition of our Get Hot, Stay Hot podcast, hosted by yours truly, Peter Rotundo Sr., and my sidekick and partner, Lee Davis. Well, we've got a big day of racing today, Saturday, June 27th at Belmont Park, Churchill Downs, and even at Thistle Downs, as 8 graded stakes will be contested between Belmont and Churchill Downs, and the Ohio Derby for strictly 3-year-olds will be run at Thistle Downs. We will list the races a bit later in the show, and because of time restraints, we'll just give a brief race analysis of 2 of the races, the graded races, namely the Fleur de Lis and the Stephen Foster at Churchill Downs, like I said a little later in the show. But Lee, before we get to all of that, how great was having my son, Peter Jr., part of Team Rotundo, a big part of Team Rotundo, last week on as a guest on our podcast.
Yeah, no, it was great. I got a kick out of it, and it's funny, like when he's not with us for a few weeks, like when he's off a layoff and then he comes to hang out with us, I think he enjoys the show, like the stuff we talk about. I think it's amusing. Again, he's not around people like us often, so when he does get a chance to hang out with us, I think he gets a kick out of it.
He's a cool, calm, collected me, wouldn't you say?
Very cool, calm, and collected you. Yeah, he's passionate at times. We're passionate more often. But, he's Joe Cool.
We're passionate, as I think people think of us, ad nauseum.
Yeah, right. We're passionate about everything. We go down a block to get coffee. We're passionate. We start a whole thing. Yeah,
I know. If the guy or the lady that makes us a coffee the way I like it, very dark, 2 Splendors, I'm like ecstatic about it.
Right, if it comes out right. And you know what's funny, that you just brought that up, and I was just thinking about, and I don't think we've ever told the story, but I'm just jumping onto it because remember when I used to bowl, and then after bowling, we would go to the Chinese restaurant, and not because of the Chinese food, but because we were so turned on the way the girl punched the register.
It was the calculator.
But it was her register, like, basically.
Yeah, but she had the quickest fingers going. And each Tuesday night after you bowled, and I would go just to watch because I'm not a bowler. I did bowl in high school. I think the name of our team was the Murderers, and we got killed every week. But it's true. I was terrible. Although, I have to admit, I remember bowling one time. I had 102 fever. I was delirious, but I bowled anyway. And I bowled 210, the highest game I ever bowled. I tell you.
You were definitely delirious or unconscious.
Exactly, because I was a 130, 140 bowler. But getting back to the young Asian girl at the Chinese restaurant, we'd go every Tuesday night, and just to see her on the calculator, we were so mentally turned on.
Right, it wasn't even about the food. And then remember we ordered. I remember we really weren't that hungry, and you said, I only want an egg roll or something. We ordered more stuff because we wanted to see her punch the numbers.
The problem was she was so used to our exact order.
Oh, we had to change.
She didn't have to use the calculator anymore.
We had to change it up.
So we ordered Coca-Cola, a couple of Coca-Colas, a couple of egg rolls, extra egg rolls, whatever we had to do. So she had to use
she couldn't,
calculator.
because she was already memorizing our stuff. Like we came in and we would say it, and then we would wait for her to push the buttons, and she would just go $11.35 or $12, whatever. And I go, but you didn't even add it on the No, but I know what. Oh, I said, okay, good. Give me shrimp and lobster sauce, lobster Cantonese. We're not even going to eat it. And then she went, oh, okay. And then she would hit the thing, and then we would love it. But we would do that. Like, again.
The simple things in life turn us on. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying about being passionate about anything.
Right.
But go back to what you were talking about. I'm sorry.
Going back to my son, I mean, he got married, now it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
okay?
He's already a veteran.
Yeah. And, speaking about that, on Thursday, we were honored to be on the I Am Horse Racing podcast, hosted by the lovely Brittany Earton and Christina Blacker. And did we have a ball or what?
Let me tell you something. That was so much fun to do, and they're such good hosts, and it's so important to have a good host to set you up with a lot of the stuff, and which makes it good. And we just had a lot of laughs, and they're so much fun to talk to. I had so much fun doing it.
I think they were a little in shock at some of the stories.
That usually happens when people interview us for the first time. They can't believe some of the stories.
But I think they really got a kick out of when they were saying, how did you get your son involved, whatever. I said, well, he used to play soccer, as a kid, 8, 9 years old. Actually, he gave it up at 9. He says he peaked. At 9. Who do you know that peaks at 9 years old?
Right, in sports. Right.
I mean, because he was good.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he was very short,
right.
But he scored a lot of goals, and he was one of the best, if not the best player on the team. But then all of a sudden, there was one year the kids got taller, and he was just like outclassed.
Right. Well, that's what happens.
It's like an allowance horse going into graded company, and he tried to pass the acid test, and he just couldn't do it.
That's it. I had the same thing when I was in high school playing ball. I got to a level where I was really good up to a point, and then you get to that point where the kids are just better than you, and then it's over. At least you know it's over, and you get involved in something else.
But actually, I was happy about it because then we got more into the racing, learned how to read a racing form, and look how his career has developed since then. But getting back to that story. So what happened was I used to go to the OTB after a soccer practice, and it was right next to an old man's bar. And I used to go in with the kid, and he met all the people that were at the bar, and I'd buy him a Coca-Cola, send for a little pizza, whatever. And it was nice going back and forth after each race.
Right.
And then what happened is his mother and Peter were passing that area one day during the week, and the town drunk JC spotted my son through the window. He comes out, he's got like 3 teeth in his mouth, and he comes out drunk as usual, and he goes, "Petey boy, how you doing? Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Where's your father?" He says, "Listen, you gotta do me a favor." He sprawls out a racing form on the car. He had like an old car, 30-year-old car. He says, "Pick me the winner in the 5th at Aqueduct." And meanwhile,
your wife was in shock.
No, she called me up that night. "What are you doing with this kid? This bum kid?" I said, "Maria, you have to realize one thing. He's got to meet all types of people in life. You know what I mean? I mean, these people that were at the bar, they were just down on their luck and everything, but they were nice people.
Right.
There weren't any criminals or anything like that.
They were handicappers. They were handicapping a horse and they had a couple of drinks in them. Whatever. Right. It's not what we do the same thing,
Right.
We just have more than 3 teeth in our mouth, that's all.
yeah, right, exactly. But again, getting back to the I Am Horse Racing show that we did with them Thursday, it was really fun, and it was really nice of them to invite us to do the interview with them.
Yeah, no, it was good. A really good time.
But I've been thinking, years ago, actually, I remember the years, 2007. I was going out with this Russian woman, Ella.
Yeah, I remember Ella.
Very nice lady,
nice
right?
lady. Yeah, nice I liked her. She was nice.
And she had a 10-year-old daughter who was very sharp.
Right. Yeah, she was. She had 2 daughters, but the younger one was a sharp one.
Very sharp.
Yeah.
And we're driving in the car, and I just came up with an idea. I said, you know what? I think I want to form a club, the Common Sense Club. And I said, Nicole, I says, you're a very sharp young girl. I said,
you got so much common sense.
Right. I think I'm going to make you the vice president. And she was ecstatic. She was so happy, whatever. So what we would do is we go to the pizza parlor, Mona Lisa, on Annandale Road, and we'd have our meeting there. And what we talked about was we were making a list of the prerequisites.
How to be in the Common Sense Club.
How to be in the Common Sense Club.
Right.
And we went for a few weeks and everything, and we came up with an idea, and we're going to have it printed out and whatnot.
Right.
So in the meantime, one weekend, my girlfriend calls me up. She goes, "You got to stop this damn Common Sense Club with this kid. It's getting too much." I said, "What happened?" "She doesn't want to listen to me anymore." I said, what do you mean? She says, Ma, you're not even a member in the club. Peter didn't even make you a member, and I'm the vice president, so you can't tell me what to do. So now I'm realizing.
But she wasn't eligible.
She wasn't eligible, and
she didn't have any common
just
sense.
because
Nice
you know,
woman, but
you're
you have a lot of
intimate
common
with
sense.
someone, that doesn't
Right.
mean you could be in the club.
Right.
You know? And so what happens? So now I feel bad. I'm going, oh my God. I mean, she's a single mother now,
Right.
and now I'm interfering in her parenting.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll make a deal with you, Ella. But this is the deal. This is what I'm going to offer you. If I have a meeting with your daughter and we decide to let you into the club,
Oh, my
make
God.
you a member, I want you to react that you just won the Academy Award.
Right, you got to get super excited and like, oh
Right,
my
or
God,
else
I'm so
the deal
happy.
is off.
Because make the daughter feel good.
And the
too.
amazing thing is,
Did she do it?
no, the amazing thing is, she said to me, do you know you really have serious mental issues? I said, put that away on the side. I am the president, the self-proclaimed president of the Common Sense Club. Will you do it? She said yes. So I had the meeting with the daughter. She actually, the daughter was a little reluctant to put her in the club. She says,
She really doesn't qualify. She goes, I love my
Right,
mother,
right, yeah.
but she really doesn't qualify
said,
to be
you
in the
know
college.
what, I
And how
think-
many people were members at the point? Not a lot of members at that point,
Right, there
right?
wasn't that many members.
And you had shirts made up, and
I
you
had
gave out
shirts made
shirts to
up,
the people.
shirts, special shirts made
I remember,
up.
yeah, I remember
on
Robin.
Forest
I had a
Avenue.
shirt, yeah, I remember that.
And very few people got in.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It was a select club.
So anyway, we offered her the membership that one night at her house, and she acted. I tell you, she could have got an Oscar because she was so excited, hugging,
Right,
kissing,
right.
and whatever. But I have to tell you, about 2 months later, I had to suspend her because I knew she didn't.
How
Well,
many times
Right.
she showed no common sense?
None.
Zero
You know what I mean?
common
And,
sense. That's funny because I remember going to the house and
Yeah,
meeting the daughter when I first met the daughter. The first time I met the daughter,
Well, you know what? I told you to come over to the house, and you got there before me.
Right.
So
You
you
said-
met Ella and the daughter, and
right?
tell
I think I met
everybody
the
what
other
happened.
daughter, but yeah, I remember going in the house and talking to and you want to be nice to the kid, and I figured really, you know how guys are. You were probably really being nice to the kid because you're trying to hook up with them, trying to sleep with the mother. So I always thought you were being over the top nice to the kid. But
But
you
yeah,
know,
I wasn't trying. I was at the time. Yeah,
no, I know that, but you were
just-
probably trying to just, you know how guys are.
Right.
You're good to the kids, the mother will always love you.
Right.
That's how it is.
Exactly.
But whatever. So getting back to, I get there, now I go in the house, and I meet, I see Ella, she's so nice, she said hello to me and everything. Do you want anything to drink? No. Here's this introduced to the daughter. So now 10-year-old kid, and she's like she's a know-it-all type of kid too. Like she was a little bit, nice kid, cute kid, but like a know-it-all type, you know what I mean? So when I'm talking to her and trying to be
Well, she was the vice president of the
no,
club.
and that's what the problem was. I was talking to her like a 10-year-old kid,
Right.
but she was really like a 25-year-old kid in her mind. So she was like, stop talking to me like I'm a little baby, whatever. And I'm, going through emotions, and you know how I talk with my hands, you talk with your hands, whatever.
Right.
She quietly goes to talk to the mother, and I thought, did I say something wrong to this kid?
So
that
now, let me interrupt now. So now I come in, and you tell me the story about, maybe I said something wrong.
Right, the
because
kid, I was
she
talking to
called
her,
the mother
suddenly
into
she
the
went
other
over to
room.
talk to the mother in the kitchen, and I think, what the hell did I do to this kid?
And so I get Ella on the side later on. I says, Ella, what happened that your daughter, called you into the room to tell you? She, you know what she says? She says, Lee looks different, is built different, the whole 9 yards. But they look like they have the same brain. They're the same person, different size and shape, but they have the same
Right.
exact brain.
Yeah,
it was like talking to Peter.
Right, I was talking to Peter, but not Peter. It was
Right.
like the same thing, and she was, and that's. I thought that was funny. You say one word, and I finish the sentence. I say something, you finish the sentence. We lookalikes, we get them right away. Whoever lookalike, who does that one look like? Could be somebody from 30 years ago. I'll say it, or you'll say it, and But that's from just being good friends and hanging out with each other for so long. But that was funny with
No, I know. And then one other time, Ella got mad at me because I was just sitting down and, and I mean it for men and women. There's a certain time in life. It could happen at 30, it could happen at 50, it could happen at 60, it could happen at 75, that everybody hits the wall. So now I'm trying to explain the expression
Of the wall, right,
of
what
the
it means,
wall.
right.
So I'm sitting there with the mother and the 10-year-old kid, and I'm telling
Right.
her, about
When the wall comes,
when the wall
that's
comes,
it,
you
right.
can't escape
Right,
the wall.
exactly. You're young, you're good looking, you're this, you're that, but at some point in your life, whatever age that may be,
Right.
it's over, and you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I had a good run, but it's over. The wall
Exactly.
comes, and that's what we call the wall.
You don't need anybody to tell you. You'll know
Right.
when you hit the wall.
Right,
When
and
you
that's
wake
it.
up that day,
Right.
you take a shower, you look in the mirror in the morning,
Say
and you
that's it.
said,
I had a
wall
good
came.
run, and that's it. It's over.
exactly.
Right.
So now, when the daughter went to bed, the
bothered
mother
her.
says to me, "How could you tell a 10-year-old girl about hitting the wall?" And I said, "Well, I figured maybe she'll start using moisturizer at a
Whatever
young
it
age.
takes to push that number further back. Because I remember it was a lot of times when we were...
I thought it was a helpful hint.
Right.
you
And
know?
I remember us walking in the mall one day, and there was like a 7 or 8 year old kid, and you looked at me with a straight face and said, "You see that kid right there?" And I went, "Yeah." She's going to hit the wall young, like around 25, 30.
She had dark circles around her eyes.
And she was only 7, and you're predicting what year she's going to hit the wall. And I just was ecstatic. I was laughing.
Well, I think it's one of my talents I have as the president of the Common Sense Club.
They go back
I
to the Common
see
Sense
things
Club.
that average people can't.
Right, that's true.
But
right.
you know what? So I speak to Ella now and then.
Right.
And now the daughter's like 23 years old now.
Right.
And she still tells her mother, "I remember what Peter says, and he was so right about the wall."
right.
You know what I mean? She says, because I notice people as they're getting older, like
she
they look
starts
good,
looking
whatever,
at it, right.
and she's looking at, and
Oh
she
my
said,
God.
and I, because of Peter,
Right.
it's
It's stuck in her
I
brain.
wouldn't call it scarred her, but
Right.
she thought about it, and
She was
always-
aware of what was going on around her with people as far as looks goes.
Right,
and
and she
everything like
always used the moisturizer
that.
product.
And it's funny, her mother, who's
Right.
was in her 50s,
She's gonna
late
be- she's
50s,
gonna be 60
gonna
next
be
year,
60,
actually, yeah.
always looked great. She
Yes.
was always a good-looking, sexy-looking girl.
Yes.
You know, she was like a James Bond. Like, if she got dolled up with the sunglasses, she looked like a James Bond
Yes,
woman. Like,
yes.
even when she was in her 50s, she went to the gym all the time. She stayed young. She looked good for a long time.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
It
Lee.
is what it is.
All right, so you want to talk about some horses or what?
Yeah, we could go over the races a little bit.
This is the thing. At Belmont today, there's 4 stake races, 4 graded races. The 7th race is the Grade 3 Vagrancy handicap. It's going to be run at 6.5 furlongs for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And the 7-5 morning line favorite is Come Dancing. Trainer Carlos Martin is training, and jockey is Javier Castellano. Speaking about Carlos Martin, I know Carlos when he was a teenager.
Wow.
My friend Tony, who passed away at the time, he had a big house in Staten Island on Toad Hill.
Right.
And he had a big basketball court. He had so many rooms and everything. He had a basketball. And Carlos used to come and play basketball. You know,
Probably
with
know a
Tony's
lot.
sons.
You probably know a lot of people. You know, when they were teenagers. I mean,
what are
let's
you
face
trying to
it.
say? That
No,
I'm
I'm
old?
just saying. You know, I know you look 48, but
I
still, at
haven't
the end
hit
of the
the
day,
wall
you're
yet. I'm
71.
71. I haven't
Right, I
hit
know,
the
but
wall yet.
everybody you probably knew when they were
Right.
teenagers, if not babies, really.
Right.
But what race you want to? What race you want to
No,
talk
wait,
about
wait. I
first?
just wanted to list the other races.
Oh, go ahead. Go over the race.
The 8th race is the Grade 2 New York Stakes. It's at 1.25 miles on the inner turf for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Call Me Love is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Christopher Clement and Irad Ortiz Jr. will be in the irons. The 9th race is the Grade 2 True North at 6.5 furlongs for 4-year-olds and up. Promises Fulfilled.
Yeah,
7-5 morning
resurrected his
line.
career.
Dale Romans, Luis Saez will be aboard. And the 10th race, the Grade 1 Just a Game at 1 mile on the inner turf for 4-year-olds and up. Newspaper of Record, 8-5 morning line. Chad Brown and Irad. Newspaper of Record really
made a comeback now.
made
right?
a great comeback.
Went off the deep end, last few times, and then took a break, come back and ran really good.
So are you going to get involved in a pick 5 tomorrow?
I'm gonna get
because
involved-
it's the 7th race through the 11th. You have 4 stake races: the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and the 11th. I think is a maiden race.
Yes, and I'm probably going to make a decent investment into it. Like the 7th race, I'm probably gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna give out my picks right now, but I'm just gonna tell you quickly. Some of the races I'm going deep, and then the other 2 races, the 2 stake race, the Fleur de Leu, is that how you pronounce
That's
it?
a
Fleur de
Churchill.
Leu?
Right.
At Churchill, yeah, the Churchill. I'm talking about the Churchill
Right.
pick 5 is what I'm focusing on, and the what was it? The Stephen Forster.
Right.
Those 2. You know, I'm going to make a couple of quick picks. That the Fleur de Lure, I'm no matter what. I looked at the race, but you know how we are. We have a friend that has a horse in the race. You know, Hannah Bloom Racing, and I won't even. No matter what the race looks like, I don't even care. I'm going to single Midnight Bazoo no matter what. She's the class of the race, and everybody's talking about how what's the name? Amos's horse is going to go wide or wide. Serengeti Empress. I don't care. I'm always loyal to my friends and family. If they have a horse in the race, no matter what, I will pick that horse and I will root for that horse. And I'm not even going to put anybody else in. That's going to be my single. I'm single in Midnight Bazoo, whether it's right or wrong. You know, Hannah Bloom. I love Hannah Bloom,
Right.
and the families. You know, we became very friendly with them. So I'm single in Midnight Bazoo. What
Well, I
about
get
you?
all right. We'll get to that in a minute, but I remember talking about being loyal. My friend Tony Shimetta again. He was the main owner of Old Glory Stable back in the 70s and 80s. And that was a time when Oscar Barrera was Oscar Barrera. He was winning
Right.
everything.
Right.
And Tony had about 30 horses in the stable. And almost always, I would bet Tony's horse because I would never bet against him because I'm loyal. He's my friend. And Oscar used to beat us 9 out of 10 times because he was winning everything. So, I lost money because being loyal because, I did
Right.
sometimes hit an exacta with the 2 of them, but I always bet Tony's horse to win because
Right.
my friend.
And I
To-
do that too. I'm the same way.
To
as
me,
you
that
are.
is the most disloyal thing in the world. If you know somebody and you're really close, maybe you don't want to bet the race, but you can't bet
You can't
another
bet against.
horse.
Right, you can't bet against. I
him.
don't care what it is.
Right.
You can't do. It's just that to me is sacrilege. You don't do that. So
No doubt about it. But let's get back to the Churchill Downs before we get to the Fleur de Lis. The 8th race is the Grade 3 Bashford Manor. That's going to be run at 6 furlongs for 2-year-olds. Cazadero is the 8-5 Morning Light favorite. Steve Asmussen and your man Santana
Yeah, I
is
like
going to
that
be riding that
combination.
horse. The 9th is the Fleur de Lis for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. The Stephen Force is the 10th race, Grade 2 at a mile and 8, 4-year-olds and up. Tom Dia is the favorite, and the 11th race, Grade 3, Regret at a mile and 8 on the turf, 3-year-old fillies. Crystal Cliffs is the 3-1 lukewarm favorite. Now, let's get back to the Fleur de Lis because I looked at the race too.
Right.
It's obvious that
Serengeti Empress.
Serengeti Empress
Right.
is
Alone
the speed
speed.
of the
Right.
race.
Right, of course.
Listed at 2-1. Tommy Amos, Joe Talamo will be aboard. I'm hoping that the one horse, what is it? Go Google yourself.
Yeah, go Google yourself.
And the 7 horse.
Yeah, the 7 Motion Emotion.
Motion and Motion. They have some speed.
Right, look,
And-
Lee Peru
and, you know,
normally is not my favorite
right.
speed guy, but that horse has speed. If he wants
Right.
to push
So
a little bit,
maybe
he can push.
they could push him. Probably not. But that's we're hoping because again, big fan of Midnight Bazoo.
And she's the class of the race.
She's
She's
the class
still
of the race.
best horse in the
I mean, look what she's done. I mean, she ran second in the Breeders' Cup
I thought she was going to win that race.
last year
Yeah.
against Blue Prize, and then in
And
the
then
Dubai race.
The Dubai race. That was another
With
monster
maximum
race. She
security.
ran huge.
I mean, she was flying at the end,
Oh,
and
my
she
God.
just got beat about 3/4 of a length.
Yeah,
so she's a top mare, and she's really a great for the game. And I'm so glad they didn't retire her, and she's still gonna run.
Yeah.
So I got my fingers crossed for today. Midnight Bazoo getting up and beating Serengeti Empress.
yeah.
In the
Well, the
finals.
distance is a mile and an eighth, so it's not impossible. It's not like, a mile 16th or something like where Serengeti Empress has a major edge. I mean, it's bad enough that she's going to have the lead by herself pretty much.
Think about
but a mile and
Serengeti
eighth,
Empress
she'll-
does love the track, though.
No,
The
I know that,
Churchill,
but the what I'm hoping for is that the mile and an eighth helps Bazoo because she'll be flying late. She'll be
Right.
coming and I don't think she has to be so far back. If she's 5 off.
Right.
She'll get her at the end.
And
believe
you got,
me, and I'm
you got
confident.
Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith, who's
Right.
better than he is.
And it's funny you bring up Mike Smith because the next race that I did, the Stephen Foster,
Go ahead.
I picked Mike Smith again, and
Really?
and for the opposite reason. He's on a horse who's going to be a price, Pirates Punch, who is a speed horse in the race. He's going to be the speed, and I'm going to take a shot and hope that he could get a loose out there and maybe steal the race, and then it'll be a big price. It's a tough race. I know Tom Data and everybody's going to be all over. I'm against Tom Data because of the jockey change. Like, I know jockey's sometimes not that big of a deal, but in this situation, Maina, I know he's been on him. I heard Albert Stall saying that, in the workouts I put him on, and so he knows the horse. But I don't like that and he's a big favorite, and Rosario's not on, Ortiz, who else? Bridgehair was on him. I'm going to pick against him, and I'm going to go with second. I picked Owendale, the horse that you had that time
in the Preakness.
In the Preakness, where you, oh my God,
Last
that was
year,
another bad beat.
The difference of him winning and losing that race is he went like 9-10 wide on the turn. He blew,
and it meant big money for us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That killed us.
It's amazing when you think back. We both had War of Will in the Derby.
Right.
He was the one that was really interfered
Probably should have
with.
won the Derby.
With the maximum security banged him.
Right.
He had a ton of horse coming into the
No
stretch.
doubt about it.
And again, it all worked out because my son had Country House. He had the triple, everything. Everybody made a
everybody's
score.
happy.
So it turned out
And we made
at the
some
end,
money.
and we made some money too. But my point is, War of Will, we got screwed in that race.
Right.
In
Owendale,
Owendale and the Preakness that he went wide, and that's part of racing.
Right,
I
right, of
understand.
course,
But that's two big races in a row, and then we end up hitting the
Belmont
Sir Winston.
Right.
So
You would have had the Triple Crown.
I would have had the
yourself.
Triple
Yeah,
Crown.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And with a little luck.
Right. So I made two. Pirates Punch, Owendale second, Fearless, the one horse will be closing, and the 6 I put him for the superfecta. What's his name? By My Standards, who will probably be second choice in the race. So I made 2, 8, 1, 6 superfecta box.
Well, I'm going with the Stephen Forster, and it's going to be an acid test for this horse, the one Fearless. Windstar Farm, they paid $700 and some odd thousand for this horse. Okay,
Right.
And you look, he's a gelding. I don't know when they gelded him.
Right.
But the horse, correct me if I'm wrong. He won the last 2 races.
Yes, he won.
All right.
Oh no, he won.
No.
He won his last race,
Okay.
and he ran second by 2 and change.
Right.
In
But
the race
I like
before
his
that.
last race because he closed into a slow fractions and he still
Yeah,
won the
49.
race going away. And
Right, it was a non-winners
what
at
was
2,
his
but-
buy? A 90?
94. He had 2 94 buys in a
So
row.
I mean, he's got upside to him yet, And
4-year-old always,
right?
has room to
There
improve.
should be an honest pace. And
Right.
you got Johnny V. I think he'll sit back there and make one run with him. And he, like I said, he's got some upside. He's 12-1 listed on the program, and I think he's a value pick for me in that race.
All right. Yeah, listen, if Silver Dust and By My Standards break my balls as far as Pirates Punch, there's a good chance that they're going to become closing. But if I could somehow get a little Mikey Smith luck and get a little loose on the lead with, no pressure, maybe, at the end of the day, I can wind up with a big score. And the one will be a price as well. I mean, Fearless is going to be a price.
Yes.
And those are the only 2 races that I looked at. I did the pick 5 at Churchill, but I don't want to go over all. I just wanted to go over those 2
Right.
races because I might in the 7th race, the first leg I might go all. The last leg I like 5 or 6. So it's tough. So it's I got to find one more race where I could maybe pick one. I think that there's a baby race. What is that? The 11th race. Yeah, the 8th race. I gotta narrow it down. I narrowed it down between the 4 and the 6 in the race. So that's a race where I'm gonna go easy, and I'm gonna single Bazoo. Again, I'm probably gonna go for $200 for a pick 5. But if maybe the other races I get prices, and Bazoo's not gonna be 3 to 5. Probably gonna be 6 to 5 even money. The 2 of them will take both. They'll both take money. So it's not gonna be that big of a difference.
All right, then I do still want to mention one other thing. Thistledown. Race 8 is the Ohio Derby. It's a 15 horse field.
God.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
I didn't even look
And you
at
know
it.
who the favorite is? The favorite is our girl Brittany Earton's father.
Oh, really?
He
so that
trains.
makes it
trains-
easy for me.
He trains Storm the Court, number 13.
Oh, yeah, Storm the Court, the one of the Breeders' Cup.
The Breeders' Cup
Yeah,
Juvenile.
of course. Oh, so that makes it easy. I
Right.
don't have to handicap 16
So
horses, 15 horses.
you can wheel the exacta.
Loyalty.
13 or
Right, that's it.
Right.
I go loyalty in that race. I don't have to worry about handicapping the race. And,
Right.
I got my loyalty here at Churchill, and I'm good for the day. If I get lucky and win a few dollars, I'll be happy.
And don't forget, during all these big races and everything, I'm going to be on the air at
You got your Louisiana Downs thing going on Saturday.
We
I'll
got some
tell you.
good claiming races tomorrow, folks.
But you know what? I wish sometimes that they would change it from Saturday to Thursday, where you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. But Saturday is there's always something going on, and you got to work, which is good. I'm glad you're working. But
Right.
sometimes
But I don't mind because I could still watch, in between races.
Right.
I could watch what's going on.
No, I know, and I don't want to come over and hang out with you because I want you to focus on your job, and I don't want to, be interfere. I want you to do what you got to do. But then Saturday, sometimes I feel a little lonely.
Oh, my poor baby. But anyway, last week on the show, I mean, we talked about the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah.
John McCary, again, excellent handicapper. He asked being that I'm from New York, what do you think about the Belmont Stakes? And lucky enough, I had the 8 and the 9.
You had the
box.
exacta. Yeah, you had the exacta
And,
box. Gave it to everybody.
So everything was good.
Yeah, we had fun. And we were, in my house. And I was downstairs with Boy. We were doing stuff for NBC, and we got on TV. Was singing New York, New York, and we were on TV whipping in a race. So he made it fun for us, and you were upstairs working. And I remember that you had an issue with the internet or something. My son had to go up there and basically save the day.
Yeah, no, he
You were,
saved
like,
the
in
day because believe me, one thing, the two of us, we're not tech savvy.
We're not
at all.
any savvy.
Thank
except
God
for
your
telling
son's
stories.
involved here, or we're dead.
No,
But,
no
I got to
question
tell you
about it.
a
I
quick
always give
story.
him
What
credit.
happened to me this past week? The producer sent me some gadget that I had to hook up to
to the router. You were telling me you had to hook a wire
the
up or something?
modem, and these words are like new words to me. I don't know what about.
Right.
So meanwhile, they called me up and they put me on FaceTime, and I was showing
Right, so the guy can tell you exactly what to do because there's no chance you're gonna figure it. And I got to call my son, but he's in school at the doing school.
But I was in a cold sweat because, again, I'm not a blue collar guy at all.
No.
And the guy calmed me down and he said, "Listen to me, it's not hard.
Right.
I'm gonna talk you through it."
Right.
It's like you know what? I felt so macho
After you did it,
I
right?
did
And
that.
it came out good?
I was I had to, and thank God it was an hour before we, the show, the races started. So
Right.
I took a shower and everything. I was soaking wet
You
because
were
I was so
nervous wreck,
nervous
yeah.
that I wasn't gonna get it.
No, I know you called me up and I was trying to not get you nervous, so I was trying to play the cool routine. But then when I hung up, I was like, "Oh my God, he's in so much trouble. He has no idea what to do," and I can't even help because I'm clueless.
Right.
What I do is I always call my son,
Right.
and I know he's busy. He was doing his pharmacy school stuff, and I was like,
You had to call him up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, when
a
I'm
few
because
weeks
I
ago.
work midnight to 6, so whenever I have a problem technology-wise, I call my son at 1 o'clock in the morning. He comes running over and bails me out, and gets me back online or whatever. case may
Thank
be,
God we
whatever.
got good kids. You know what I mean? Think
Yeah.
about
No,
it.
you're
Without
right.
them,
No, we're dead.
We're dead.
They got to take care. Forget about us taking care of them. They're taking care of us.
The expression "pass the torch." We
Right.
couldn't ask to pass the torch to two better guys.
Too better,
you
no
know?
question about it.
My son and your son.
No
I'm
doubt
telling you.
about it. They help us immensely.
Right.
And that's about it. I mean, it was nothing. What else is there really to talk about? I know it's supposed to rain today, but hopefully it doesn't. But
Right.
and then if it does, and that's why I didn't really want to look at all the Belmont stuff until I could predict. I want to know what the track's going to be,
Right.
because to do all the work and then have to do it over again, or do it and go, oh well, I could use this off the wet, and if it's off the turf, use it. I don't want to do that. That's why I stuck with the stuff at Churchill
you
today.
see how
and
you're complaining about that? Because you're getting old. You see,
Right, you're
if
right.
you're
I
young,
get
you
cranky.
don't care. You do it again.
Right,
It
what's the
doesn't
difference?
matter.
Do it again, right? But when you do,
But-
you're right. As you
but-
get older,
but have
so
you
that's a sign of the wall, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm just going to ask you. Have you
I
hit
knew you
the
were gonna say
wall
that.
yet?
Well, looks-wise, I hit the wall probably 25 years ago. But mentally, You're right. It's starting to come around. I'm 56. You know,
You get cranky a lot.
I get cranky.
Yeah,
Oh my
you know.
God, do I get cranky?
Right.
You're right. But you know what? You gotta, like I always say, you gotta look at. I do my Joel Osteen, and I pray, and I do my stuff, and you gotta look at the bright side of things. And you know what? We have fun every week,
Right.
and we enjoy each other's company, and other people enjoy our company,
Right.
and we just keep plugging away, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
All right, it's about time. I think we got to wrap up this
Gonna
show.
wrap it up? All right, well.
Big day today.
All right.
Churchill Downs, Belmont Park.
Get hot, stay hot.
Thistledown, Louisiana Downs. We got it all
A
happening.
lot of races.
So,
Just need money.
we just need money. All right, so
All right.
fans, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
And don't forget, get
Get
out.
hot, stay hot.